Hey everyone, and welcome to GMIHub Online. So glad you can join us again. This is going to be a great week. And the reason for that is for all you artists, all you creatives, we are going to attack your nemesis. And your nemesis I'm referring to is marketing. We've talked to, at least I've talked to a few of artists that every time we talk about marketing, they go, "Oh, I wish I knew what I could do." And today is your day to find out how you can get your marketing, not just any marketing, but a marketing machine working for you and your music. Okay, so I told you what our topic's going to be. I'm Cheryl Duick, your host, and I want to introduce my co-host, Dale Borland.
Hey everybody, welcome to the GMIHub Online. We're so glad you could join us. Just want to let you know if this is your first time visiting us online or you're watching for the first time, please give us a little thumbs up, that'd be awesome. And don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe. That would really help us out a lot. Also, we want to let you know about our website, the GMIHub.ca. GMIHub.ca is a great place for you to go to check out what we're all about. You can see on there so much information and things that are part of our community. And if you want to be part of our community, it's really simple. We have a newsletter which we send out every month, and that monthly newsletter can go to you if you let us know your email address. So just get in there and put your email address, and we can send you out that monthly email. And it'd be great to have you in our community. We've got other things on there as well as our compilation CDs from the past 2 Christmases. That's right. We got 1 and 2. Yeah, those compilations are there available to you as well. So anyway, there's so much happening. Please take the time to go and check out and be part of our community, as we want to spend time with you as an artist. And today, we're talking about the machine that makes you the artist you need to be. Let's get going. Woo!
All right, so now let's meet our guests, panelists. With us tonight, we have award-winning, actually multi-award-winning artist. He's been with us before on more than one occasion. This is Andrew Martin. He, I'll say pre-COVID, was doing a lot of touring, and he had quite the marketing machine that worked then for his touring. And you know what? Even with COVID, it's still working for all his music. Andrew, welcome. Thanks for being here. Unmute.
Daryl and Daryl and Cheryl and Daryl and Daryl and Cheryl and Dale. And Dale and Cheryl. And that's me. I feel like it's a new TV show for like Canada Primetime.
Yeah, Canada Primetime. There you go.
Welcome, Andrew. And also with us is our first-time guest, but we've known him as an artist. We actually met him in the summertime, well, several summers ago, as we were helping out with a summertime concert series, and we discovered he could sing, and we discovered a whole lot of other wonderful qualities about him. But one of his greatest talents is not only singing, but he's a sales specialist. I'm talking about Darrin Hunter. Welcome, Darrin.
Hi, Cheryl, Dale, and Daryl, and Andrew. Nice to be here. I certainly hope I can help out.
I'm pretty sure you could. Okay, let's deal with this nemesis, marketing. Marketing machine is quite the term that to me is like a utopian marketing system. But what is a marketing machine in your eyes? How would you describe that?
Now you want Darren to answer first or me?
Andrew.
Andrew, okay. For me, it's involving all my socials, my website, generally concerts as well, sales online, and down to Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising, hard copy advertising, radio advertising, all of those aspects coming together, and then the different people and how they all work together. That's part of, and distribution and Spotify, and the list goes on and on. So that's the marketing machine. Wow. When I talk about marketing machine, that it is for me.
Awesome. How about you, Darrin?
So just hang on a minute. I just want to back up a bit, because my thing is the components that you just mentioned of that marketing machine. it sounds like there's a whole lot of things to do, and it sounds to someone who has probably not been thinking that way or not geared that way might say this is a little overwhelming. So maybe what we can do is later on the show we can talk a bit about those components and not make it so overwhelming. So let's move on.
Oh, and Dale, actually, that's a great segue. So thank you, because when I think of marketing machine and I take it from a sales perspective, I think duplication. I think of something that's repeatable, duplicatable, and easy to work with. I think of something that has a system, has patterns, so that you know what to do when this happens. You know, checks and balances, if you will. That if something's working, note what's working, continue to adapt and modify and implement, and then reassess. It's sales is
Right.
somewhat, I don't want to say predictable, but sales is not that difficult if you just take it back to repetitive and just take it back to what you can handle, and then get help for what you can't. You know, when you need the help, get some help. So that's
So for
kind
lack
why
of a
we're here, I
better
guess.
term, yes. So lack of a better term, you might call it a recipe, or something that you can
More
go
or less.
back to
I mean,
and take away things that work and add things later that don't. You know.
exactly. There's certain things, and Andrew can speak to it directly, that you will find, and again, it depends on your demographic, it depends on your location,
Mhm.
it depends on your medium, but you will find some things work better than others with those different factors. So Andrew can speak to the trial and error side of it. You can try and research the numbers on what works, but ultimately, especially as an artist, you want to maintain yourself. You want to maintain what you're doing, and your personality in what you're doing, but you have to be able to make that relatable, so that it draws crowds and sells whatever you're selling, whether it be it singles or albums, recordings, whatever you want to focus on. So
Okay, so you've mentioned a few things, but let's clarify. Before we even get a marketing machine going, what are some of the things we need to take into consideration?
For me, I look at socials. I mean, you have all your social media accounts, everything from TikTok to YouTube, Facebook, Insta, all of these items that you're reaching out to. But I say that with an asterisk. If your medium or your demographic that you're reaching is not on that, then you're not going to advertise, or you're not going to spend your time there. That's going back to what Darrin was saying. So knowing a bit of your demographic of who you're trying to reach, or if you're a rapper and your age demographic is 18 to 29, TikTok, Instagram, that's where you're going to spend a lot of your time. Facebook, you're going to engage through Twitter and all other type of mediums that are sitting there. It's going to take your time and your effort, but you can plug them in. You can use programs that can help post for you, so that you can be in more than two places at once. But you still have to spend the time, the sweat equity of putting all the content in there. And then, like Darrin had mentioned, how you can have stuff that's repeatable. There are certain things in your plan of marketing yourself, because that's what you're marketing as a singer, that you can go out there and you can repeat those posts multiple times, just not too often, but you would know what they are and you can schedule them out so that they're already there, which alleviates your time for other things. So that would be where I would start first if I was doing it today.
Darrin, from a sales perspective, what would you recommend an artist take, I'll say, note of before they even start marketing?
well, you have to have an end goal. So you have to write out your goals, write out where you want this to end up, what your ideal scenario would be, so that you've got a target. You have to have, in sales, we talk about quotas, we talk about new customers, we talk about stuff like that, but you're talking about views, you're talking about downloads, you're talking about the social stuff that Andrew's talking about. And you have to determine, where are you now? Where do you want to be in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months? You space it out, okay? And that's how you can start. You have to get yourself a timeline and goals. Then you work on what you're going to post, the content that Andrew talked about. And then you have to get the demographic. If you're a crooner that's looking to, market the older crowd, you might not be looking at TikTok, stuff like that. If you're, a bluesy jazz kind of thing, maybe not. It all depends where you want to go with it. So you have to consider your goals, you have to consider timelines, and you have to consider individual steps that you can evaluate, you can modify if necessary, and you can re-implement. So again, something where you can repeat once you find something that's working, and then just do it for your different songs, your different albums, whatever it might be. But yeah, goals, a plan, and timelines.
Okay. Goals, a plan, timelines, know your audience, and know where they are. Like, where do they get their music or get their information, and make sure that your stuff is put in those areas. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing from the both of you?
Amen. I believe so, yeah.
Awesome. Now, I've heard this in sales, and I don't know if it applies for music, but I'm going to throw it out at you guys anyway. What about competitors? Is it worth analyzing your competitors and defining who those are?
Darrin, you get to go first on this one.
All right, thanks. In this type of industry, I don't think you need to worry a lot about competitors. And Andrew, please correct me if I'm wrong, until you start getting some great success. Once you start stealing market share from somebody else, then there's an issue. Then there's somebody that might, counter off, and that's where you get some of those, the Twitter fights and stuff like that, I guess. But I think initially starting out, no, you are an artist. You are pouring your heart out. You are going with what your soul wants to promote, and that's how you have to promote it. You have to promote it from a genuine, this is my craft and I'm promoting it, not I need downloads, I need money. This is your craft. This is what you take pride in. This is your life's ambition, and that's how you have to start. So competition has really very little to do at that level. Once you start promoting from the internal, then you get some success. I think if you can be relatable, that's where you get your success. Once you get big, technically you're taking market share from somebody, but honestly, the internet's a big place. There is lots of room, and there's lots of followings. There's lots of different people that can follow you. So I don't know if competition's necessarily going to apply here unless you've got a very, very specialized product that you're trying to market. And then if somebody else has a similar specialized product, yes. But if you're marketing yourself and your ambition and your life's work, I don't think you have much competition in this right now.
Okay.
And I 1,000% agree with Darrin on this one. I mean, I look at others that are, I guess, my fellow peers. I look at what they do, but that's more from what can I shift in my marketing? What have they done that's cool? I keep an eye on what other people do, but that's more to have ideas to spur me on to do something else, whether it be songwriting to performance ideas. And I'll admit I've stole a joke or two, but now they steal them back. So I mean, it's all fair. I mean, everybody's used my stuff too on stage. So I mean, it's fun. I mean, that's the whole part of it. But competing against one another, no, I don't believe you have to. Darrin's right. You're an individual. You're unique. And if you're trying to be somebody else, then you might want to just stop this business altogether, because there's already that person and they're a heck of a lot better at it than you are.
Such good advice. Okay. If you're just tuning in with us, we are watching GMI Hub Online. We are talking about building your marketing machine. We're here with Andrew Martin, who is an internationally known award-winning artist. We also have a sales specialist with us, Darrin Hunter, who's also an artist. He's a singer. And we're gleaning from their knowledge and their experience about marketing and a marketing machine and how to build it and what the components are. If you like what this conversation is all about, I'll say right now, go and click the share button and share this experience with somebody else, another artist. Like I said, marketing is like a creative's nemesis, and we are addressing the nemesis today. So definitely share the experience. Dale, did you have any questions? How are you finding this conversation so far?
Well, here's my biggest challenge, I think, to an artist who is maybe for the first time setting up their machine, whatever that might be. So if an artist is thinking about, well, where do I start? So maybe there's a place, a point of like an origin that you can start this from. What would be like the first thing or the first stepping stone that you would recommend to someone who's thinking, well, how do I get this big machine started?
For me, I'd start with a website. I mean, that's your first digital footprint into this wonderful world of internet and everything else that's out there, and to get yourself known is the quickest and easiest way. Having a great website that focuses on who you are, having your about section say who you are, what you're about. I'm a crooner that is reliving the classics of those that have gone before, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, blah, blah, blah. You have that in there. You figure out what you're a songwriter in there. You'd put all that sort of stuff in your about section. And then make sure you have some clips up there of yourself singing, whether that's video and audio, so that people can listen, they can watch. Now, all of a sudden, they're engaging with who you are. Now, you've gotten there, something you mentioned right off the top of the show, that you guys have a newsletter. You have all of those things ready so that as you put yourself out there, people can now interact with you. People know how to stay in touch with you. And then you start building from there. Socials would be my next one. Go to a Facebook. You can build from there and on and on and on. But the whole place, I would start website.
Good point.
And to jump into Andrew's thought train there is focus on the target market you want. You know, if your website's all over the place, you may not get the focused looks and views that you want. You have to, you know, again, like Andrew talked about, don't try and be somebody else. If you're, stay true to who you are, stay true to what you're posting, and that's where you want to build your site and your look towards, right? If it is like, you know, a hip hop kind of rap thing that you want to, lots of colors, lots of movement, lots of maybe a little flash, little, you know, all that stuff, then that's one thing. If you're not, to Andrew's point, if you're the crooner, think about targeting your website into that, like a slow groove thing, into a nice little flowing scenario, you know, just something that mm-hmm. somebody who's going to listen to that kind of music isn't going to want to, you don't want to send a conflicting message with your graphics versus your content, is my thought.
Yeah, Darrin hit the nail right on the head. I think that you got it right. When you're talking about your website, you got to consider your branding, and that's what the big word. It's kind of intimidating, but it's talking about your demographic through the look and the feel of your product, which is your music, or you as an artist are the product actually. But you know, we're talking about the website. So let's look at some recommendations you would have to have on a. Let's just for the website, let's focus on that for a second. Some of those elements, now there's a lot of crossovers because there's links that you can put on your website and all these types of things. So maybe we could talk about what recommendations you would have for an artist to say, well, where do I start putting a website together?
Where I would start, since I am not that techie guy, I would start by hiring somebody because they are, that's what they do. I mean, Darrin's son, if I'm correct, builds websites. So you would, contact Darrin. My wife does. That's what she does too. I mean, that's something that I went and researched, found a company that did it when I first started, and I said, this is what I would like to have. I'd like to have a website. I sat down with them. From there, we went through the what needs to be there, right down to the look that it needed to be for the demographic and the people I was going after. So back to Darrin's point, it matched who and what I was singing about. And then I made sure that all my branding, which Dale just said, matched. So all my pictures, all of the content that I was putting up would match with the product I'm putting out and with what I was trying to sell, which was me. So I made sure all of that was always on point, and being very careful that any image I did put out, especially when socials came along, I'm older than I look, when they first came along, you made sure that all your postings from Instagram to Facebook, that my branding was on point too with who I am. So therefore, nothing's controversial, nothing's political, nothing is going too far, that my look is always there, so that when a picture's taken of me, it looks like I could be on stage or off stage, and being very careful about how I looked everywhere. That was all part of how I started. And I made sure those points were on because I'm the thing that I'm selling, as opposed to a product. If you have product, you have to make sure your product's on your website. Make sure your songs are on your website. Make sure some videos are on your website. So take your time to invest in that and let people know who you are. So those 4 elements right there. And then as you start to tour, think of it in the future wise. So as you're building your site, think, hey, I'm going to be touring. I need a spot to have tours, and people can find out how to get tickets and find me on the road and interact with me.
So your website ends up being like your online e-kit. Is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Did I say that wrong? Oh, well. Okay, so photos, and making sure that the pictures match or communicate exactly who you want to reach. Darrin, I think about what you said earlier, which I think is so cool. You don't want to sell, you want to sell the way you want to be sold to, which is in a sense a biblical principle, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
I guess that's how I kind of live going forward. I mean, I treat people how I would love to be treated, which is absolutely a principle. And it is something that has the best salesmen in my books. That's how they do it. I develop customers for life, not for the order. And that's what you want to do as a following, as an artist, is you want customers for life. You want people to play your song at their wedding. You want people to play your song when your firstborn is you can relate to something, the first dance with your girlfriend. If that's going to be your song, then it's got to come from here. It's got to come from inside. So genuine, being genuine is the absolute key to marketing, whether you're in, I'm selling packaging, or I'm selling health and safety, or I'm selling songs. It's you have to be genuine. I mean, I did that when I was 18, selling menswear at Eaton's. It's funny to tell a 40-year-old guy, sir, that does not look good on you. It's just, the other sales guys, kind of their jaw drops. And I went, you know what? I got another suggestion, but that one's just not right. And, I might not have got the sale that day, but he's not going to walk out and his friends and his peers, and they're not going to go, So I'm totally comfortable with not getting a sale if that's my opinion and that's what I think, and again, it's one guy, but I'm looking to see what fits, and not from a clothing standpoint, but just how does it fall into place with what you're trying to do, and
it sounds like to me.
Cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
so it sounds like to me like sincerity is the central focus of that. In that sincere, people will resonate with you if they look at you and that brand as being a sincere individual who wants to really
music,
not just to perform.
Yeah. Music isn't a cookie cutter thing. I mean, you can get it and do it like that, but that's not where the stuff that you want the legacy music. You want, you want to be the guy that's playing your own songs in the back of the bar just with your guitar, just because they sound good and people love listening to it, you know,
And singing
and you
along with
can't.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they, the guy that know, you know, if you can walk into some place and start playing and somebody can sing along with you, wow, that's an amazing feeling. So, you know, right now I just get that with the covers. I don't write as much as I should, but it's something that, no, when you're doing this business and where it can go has to be genuine. I mean, there's a lot of different sales gurus that'll tell you, you know, the hard close, the repeat close, the all that fun stuff, the inundate with email thing, and I have I have got an example of a trainer that has been highly promoted to myself and some others in the sales realm, and I get 3 emails a day from him. I'm about to block him. Yet
Wow.
his message is great apparently, but I'm getting 3 emails a day, and I'm up to here. It's like I'm done. You know, I just, that is not the way I like to be sold to. It is not what I want to do. Maybe it works. Here's maybe a challenging question, but you have to be confident in what you're doing. Okay, that kind of marketing works with people who aren't sure what they want to do and they'll try anything. Okay, so you have to be confident in how you want your story to be told. So if you can't define how you want to tell your story, and I think that should be one of the first things in that goals and the preparation thing is, how do you want to tell your story? Because if you're given the wrong message, it's going to come back on you. You're going to get some backlash. You're going to get something that just doesn't fit, right? So from a sales, especially as I say in the music industry, I just love the people that can sing from their heart, and lyrically you can tell. And Andrew knows, you when you got a song that the lyrics just resonate and everything just seems to scream at you. You can put so much emotion into that song, and it's going to be a great song. It's just that simple.
Yes, and what Darrin just said is 1,000% correct. I mean, when you pour yourself into it, as we're talking about building our fan base, I thought back to one specific fan. I'll only use the first name, Shirley. But '01, I think it was 2001, was the very first time I met her at a show. And here we are at the Canada 150, which was a few years ago now. I'm on stage in front of 8,000 people. Who's at the very front of the stage? Shirley. She's sitting there. But I've been through her son passing away, her husband passing away, and she's still there because she wasn't just an acquisition. She's more than just a fan. She's family. And I think when you're reaching out and we're talking from a sales, you're selling yourself. If you're going to sell yourself to go to a show, then whoever you're selling yourself to, if you're a gospel artist, you're going to sell yourself to a pastor or promoter, make sure you're authentic. Back to what Darrin just said, because if you're not, if you're just blowing smoke just to get the gig, my feeling is you shouldn't be there in the first place. Because if you're not going to be authentic on stage and off stage, if it's just a show, at some point in time, that's going to come out. That's going to unravel your whole ball of yarn. But if you are the same person on and off stage, in the tour bus and out of the tour bus, then all of a sudden it doesn't matter when somebody pulls in the string. They're going to find out that your heart is who you are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Amen.
And, it's really interesting hearing this because, we talk about this entity or this part of the authenticity when we were writing about or thinking about writing songs and I guess thinking about the creative side. But what I love about what you boys, or I shouldn't say boys, gentlemen, what you guys are basically saying is that authenticity really carries through beyond just writing the song. It actually carries through to how we communicate who we are and what we want to present to other people, which is really good because, like I said, most artists kind of freeze when it comes to marketing. I don't know what to do, So it's kind of cool learning that we don't have to be scared about this because that same energy and passion you put into your writing or in your music is the same passion and energy and authenticity that you can put in your marketing. So I love it. Thank you so much. This is so awesome. Again, if you are looking at this for the first time, you are watching GMI Hub online. We are actually broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook. It's been a while since we've been on Facebook. So welcome Facebook viewers and welcome YouTube viewers. And we are talking about building your marketing machine. If you are enjoying this conversation, share the experience. If you want to learn more about what GMI Hub is all about, go to our website, gmihub.ca, and go ahead and sign up, be a part of our community. There's lots of great things that are coming up that we want to let you know about, and we don't want you to miss out. So definitely check out our website. We're also available on Instagram and TikTok. And did I miss any, Dale?
I don't think so. I think you hit him.
Good.
Yeah, I think you hit him all.
Got him covered. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've talked about how to start. We start with an audience. We start with a plan, so to speak, and a plan that includes knowing what our goals are, knowing who our audience is, knowing what our music is, and knowing where our where to locate all our audience. And we've talked about getting our website ready and getting our social medias ready. So let's say we got all that going, and now we want to just check how this machine is working. Andrew, how do you check to make sure that things are working for you?
Well, I just did it today, to be honest, Cheryl. I was on the artist side of my Spotify channel, looking through. I wanted to see specifically this past Christmas. I was looking for one song, a song called Christmas Joy, which I think is on some, is it GMI Family Christmas Volume 2 CD? I think it's there. And you can find that on, I think it's gmihub.bandcamp.com. I think you can find it there.
It is.
I'm just saying, talking about a marketing machine. But I wanted to check on the statistics of that. Like, how did it do? And I was able to look in and see that the song performed well in 9 countries. Which country was the best? And I have to look at my notes for this, and I apologize for the glasses have to come on to show my age. But to know that, I had my top 10 countries. I can list them off: USA, Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, Norway, Denmark, Australia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland. I know my demographics because within that Spotify channel, it told me my age group, which was the age of the general person was male or female. This was the first year which I was a 50-50 split. I'm generally 65% female, 65-70. This is the first year that guys finally started to like me. I don't know. It's just weird. Anyway, maybe it's just because I'm getting older. They're like, hey, look at the old guy there. But I performed, that song performed better in a balanced demographic. So I looked at specifically that as opposed to other songs, and then knowing my analytics. Now looking into my Spotify channel, looking back over this year compared to last year. Where are my streams this year? Where are my streams last year? What countries did I perform in? Have I increased? Have I decreased? What songs are performing the best? What songs are getting the most streams? Going back to something we were talking about earlier, Darrin had mentioned, when you find out those things, now we're starting to say, okay, I know that my Merry Christmas Baby song is my number one song at Christmas time. So I need to focus on having a video put out of me doing Merry Christmas Baby. How can I set that up? It's a bluesy sort of Christmas tune. So I need to build the video, which will be happening. There's a little piece of information in 2022. So that when this Christmas season comes out, I'm planning now, it'll be shot probably in the next few months. And then when Christmas comes out will come that video, because it's always done well for me. So I'll make sure that it's there. I know that if it's streamed so much, most likely it'll be shared so much. Now we're going to find that out after the video gets released. And then I start to go back from there. I go back to TuneCore, which is a company I use for my distribution and my publishing. And then I can go in there and look at the analytics of streams versus sales, the countries, the songs and albums that are doing well, rate down to what months are my best months. I know December, November are my number 1, 2. And then I go March, February, January. I know that sounds weird, but in pecking order, top to bottom. So I know that generally this time of year, people are looking for more inspirational type music from looking at the songs that have did well and played well. It's If I Could Look Through Your Eyes, La Brigada del Señor, like all these songs that are in there that people have been wanting, When a Man Loves a Woman. All those things are in there and they're performing well. So I know this time of year, that's where I need to focus my attention through Facebook, through Instagram, through Twitter, on my YouTube channel. Make sure that those videos pop up on the top, because as people are going and looking and listening through Spotify, as now they're looking at my profile, when they go to my profile, what's the very first thing they're going to see? Well, for the next 3 months, I want them going on there to see When a Man Loves a Woman, and they're like, oh, that's the song I just listened to. Click, share, there. I mean, so there's just a little small insight.
Darrin, did you have anything to add on that? Out of curiosity.
Again, not a whole bunch. As I said, I'm not at that stage from what I'm doing. So, but no, I mean, just stay with the principles, and like Andrew's doing, just the key to say pattern is implement, assess, readjust, and then re-implement. There's a pattern, and it applies in multiple different industries where you have a plan, you implement, you assess, you correct, and then re-implement, reassess, and it's an ongoing process. So to Andrew's point, he's going to take his numbers. The 50-50 split is a great sign for him. Maybe not. Maybe, he will know whether that's good or bad. So, but it gives him a different focus. Maybe if this particular song had something about it that appealed to men, he can do a couple more of those, as well as the traditional ones that were a higher women's population. And then you can blend them together, and then you get a raise on both demographics, right? So it's that's how he's gonna, that's how the analytics would do that, and you work from there. So
yeah, I think the song did better in the split because of the lyrics, and yeah, it's a really good song.
That was, yes, we're the co-writer on that, Dale. That is correct. Yeah, that is correct. And my daughter, dear Lord, if I forget my daughter right now, she's expecting. She'll kill me.
Of course.
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah, nice. So, but again, it just gives you something that you can work with. You have to be able to. You got to have data to work with, and once you have the data, then you tweak and you go from there. So,
and in your business, in your fan pages, if you have a fan page on Facebook, there is analytics in there, and you can look through. You'll find out what countries are finding you and listening to you. I've never toured in Germany. Now I'm getting a great following there, and a great listenership all the time through Spotify, Apple Music. It's playing well. So much so, and them, Norway, so sort of the European countries. And because of that, I actually had a group in Norway actually recorded one of my songs. And I found that out, because I got a bump in my sales. And I'm like, oh, what's this from? And it's like, you did a TV show in Norway. And I'm like, no, it didn't. So I look it up, and then it was somebody else. It was another group doing the song I had written, which I get the credit and the royalties for, which is great. And it was awesome to then reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for covering my tune. That was pretty cool, and be able to interact back and forth with them. But that's thanks to, a song years ago going number 1 in the UK for me at Christmas time that got my name out there. Now people started listening, and that just followed along to people then, oh, hey, I like the guy's voice, I'm going to stay in tune with him. And Spotify, Apple Music, all this sort of stuff has helped. It's so much easier now with YouTube. you can stay in front of a global audience in a heartbeat. And that's the awesome part about it. And so as things change, this is back to Darrin, as things change, you look at things and you go, okay, I did do this XYZ all the way through last year, but now there's something new in there. Now I have to readjust again. And that's what Darrin just said. Now I'm looking at Christmas Joy. How is it written? Is it in the production? Is it in the lyrics? What about that song appealed to more men? Now I want to build on that demographic. Now what can I put out next that could build on that? And is that going to keep that up? And then at the same time, doing Merry Christmas Baby, that has its own thing. How can I do more of those as well? So then I do expand my base on both sides of the fence.
Yeah. Sounds like a lot of mental gymnastics which is going on as well, because you're making a lot of assessments based on the data that makes available to you through your analytics. It's a little bit of work there, boys and girls.
It is.
They can probably put it in a graph for you, Dale, so it's easier to look at. So.
Yes, no, that's what I was just going to say. I was just going to say that too. It's easy when you put it out there on paper. I mean, it's. I said this to Cheryl a few days ago. The one thing about this business, especially as an artist side, if you want to be the next best thing, then you got to sell yourself out to it. And how are you selling that? How are you selling yourself out? I missed a heck of a lot of my mom and my dad's birthdays and Christmas. Actually, I was always home for Christmas, but birthdays, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I was always on the road. My kids' birthdays, I was always on the road. Luckily, my kids were with me in the tour bus. But all of that, you had to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to go hard at this. I hired somebody in the beginning because I wanted more bookings than I could do and do shows. So now I hired someone. They stayed in an office, and now I'm doing 198 shows a year, and I'm living in the tour bus 230, 240 days. And that was life, but I sold myself to that, which is I'm now reaping the rewards for that because of writing, performing, recording, and doing all that in there. And back when I started all this, Facebook and everything was still sort of new. So I had to grow with that as it grew. I learned to adapt and change. Like MySpace was all there, but I didn't bother going into that. But I had friends that did. Should I have? Probably. There was a mistake I made. I should have went into MySpace and found myself in there. And there's a few other small niche markets that I didn't capitalize on early in my career that could have had, great success later on. I got there, whether it's just dumb luck or good talent, I don't know. But I got there. And now I've learned to, take all the little things. I'm not great at Facebook marketing. I have an awesome guy that does all that for me. He does all my Instagram, Facebook ads. I hire it out. And I'm supposed to do that way. A lot of my social stuff, I don't do. I only do one of my social things. A lot of my social stuff is done by someone else. I don't do my own website. That is done by my beautiful, gorgeous wife. All that sort of stuff, you build out and you find the people that are better at it than I am. And that allows me to stay creative in what I'm doing.
So I want to bring something else up that I didn't even think about. Budget. Because you said you hire everybody out. What would be a recommended budget, at least to start out with a marketing strategy or a marketing plan? To start.
As much as you can do yourself, you do. I mean, keeping yourself as an artist. Let's look at this from an artist standpoint. If I was starting today from scratch, I would focus on sort of the GTA. I would look at that as this is my area that I'm going to try to influence as much as possible. So therefore, I can drive out to the event and back from the event in the same day. So I'm not incurring motel costs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You'd find out whether you want to do the shows with tracks or if you want to have your band in on the shows. Those are two different prices. And being authentic in the beginning as you're talking to gospel side, a pastor or a promoter, saying, okay, here's my cost. No, don't alienate yourself that you're going to do a gig where the church is now limited in their funds. They can only pay X and it's small. You can say, well, can I go in there and do that gig to tracks or acoustically with a guitar and still perform to the same level. And if you can, go do it. And then you will also have the bigger show that might be the next night or 2 nights later or 2 weeks later that you have your whole band on. You have to have the balance of both of those, but I would focus on the GTA. Then I would start expanding my group out from there to Greater of Ontario. Then, hey, I want to start touring Canada. You've built yourself in a base, and you've built yourself in taking your funds and putting them back into your business, that you can now get out there and do more. Now you're going to get to the place where, okay, my last Christmas tour, when we did it in 2019, I can't believe it was that long ago. I wanted to do a 9-show run. I knew where I was doing it. I budgeted 6 figures right off the top. I mean, I knew this was going to be my cost for motels, for advertising, for my band, for anything that I want to do. It was a straight, I know it's going to cost me 6 figures, but I'm at a different spot. I got there. I didn't start there, if that makes sense. So start with what you have. Darrin can answer even more expertly than I can from that.
Again, I wish I don't quite have that experience, but no, he's absolutely right. I mean, if you've got a friend that can do the website, I mean, there are website services that are inexpensive. That's how my son started with just developing a few things like that, where he would use those sites and learn, and then he taught. He took the courses. He made sure he knew what he was doing. But to Andrew's point, you have to stay focused on what your passion is, and then the music. So there's going to be a balance. There's going to have to be a balance where maybe it's some long nights, maybe it is that sweat equity that he's talking about, where you're doing both things, 3 things at the same time to market as well as perform. It's tough. I mean, the entertainment dollar is not there right now. I mean, it's unless you're reestablished and you're established already, it's probably tough to build a fan base that wants to pay to come see you, because you can't play anywhere, and that's the challenge. So work on the basics right now. Even posting YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music. Try and get somebody that knows what they're doing when they're shooting a video for you. It's maybe the George Brown College students, the Sheridan students, somebody who wants to do this as a thesis or as a project for you. I don't know. Just explore. Get out of the box when you're looking for people to help you. It's there's a lot of school programs now that don't have the co-op they need because of jobs and COVID. So maybe there is that niche there that you can tap into for websites and for maybe even some marketing advice. Just a thought, but yeah, keep it on the low, because obviously times are tough right now for a lot of people. So
exactly, and keeping that in mind as you're trying to reach out. I mean, there's what Darrin just said is golden. Marketing dollars are tight for everyone now, not only from the consumer standpoint, but the promoters, the pastors, whatever, to try to bring you in. Their dollars are also tight. So if you go out there thinking you're all that and a bag of chips, and you're going, oh no, you have to pay me top dollar because of this. You got to learn how to give and take. Also, giving yourself back to charities, giving your craft back to others is a big thing for me. I will say that with this caveat: you can't do all charities because you will run yourself thin. So always do as many as you can to the extent that you can give. All right, I'll say it that way. Maybe for you, it's going to be, I can only give off 2 shows a year. Maybe you can say I can give off 20 shows a year. But by giving back to the community, it says a bit about who you are. You're also building your brand. You're also building your base in there, because now you're finding fans that got to know you. Find all the places that will do the drop in, hey, come bring your guitar and play on a Monday night. No, they're not there right now, but they will come back. And when they do, get yourself out there, get into those venues, into those spots. That's how you get your name known. Again, keeping it local, build the brand, build your base. That's also going to build people wanting to buy your singles, buy your albums, which gives you the money to then put into marketing, which gives you the money to then look at hiring a better website developer or somebody to work in an office and book your shows. I didn't just go out and do that. I already was doing it myself. I hated doing it because I always found it easier to sell Darrin than to sell Andrew. I could tell anybody. I could tell anybody to go book Darrin for a show. That's easy. You know, Darrin's a great guy. I mean, the guy can sing, he can play. He's an awesome guy. Does great covers. His version of Hallelujah is phenomenal. I hope you do that song. But his, you know, I can do that. I can sell Dale, but now sell myself. It's a lot harder to say, "Oh, I'm great." Yeah.
Yeah, I understand your point. Yeah, it's like you feel like you're bragging. I understand. And
Right.
you know, it's interesting you brought up. You talked a bit about performance-based promotion. I call it BPB, promotion by performance. It's just you taking those opportunities when you go and you're starting out small and in your local area. You got your merch, whatever you're building on that, and that's a long journey. And sometimes that's that time whenever an artist is working and trying to balance their love of their musical career and trying to find that time whenever they can transition into doing music full time is such a difficult place to be. And so I don't know what else to say. It's a hard thing, and like Andrew mentioned earlier, you do a lot of sacrifices to make that happen. So it's not easy. This is not an easy thing unless you end up getting discovered by somebody and they go, "Oh man, I want to promote you." You know, it's a challenge. It really is. It's an uphill journey.
But going to that, Dale, I mean, as concerts come back, as you build your friendship, and you know, I'm going to use a friend. Kevin Pauls is doing a show, and I know Kevin's got a
Yep.
show coming up, and I'm friends with Kevin. I'm going to contact Kevin and say, "Hey, Kev, I know you got a show coming up. Would you mind? Can I open for you? Can I do one or two songs? Don't be too proud to think that you should be the headliner. Can I come and open?" And you know, if I'm Kevin, and all of a sudden maybe I'm not feeling well that night, or I listen to your music and I go, "Hey, I really like this cat," or because he knows you, he says, "You know what? Come do it. I can't pay you, but come sing a couple songs at the beginning of my show." It's great for him, and it's great for the artist because he's paying back to somebody else. Take those times to invest into other people and network with other artists. I've had artists ask me if they can open for a show or be part of a tour. I've at times taken them. Cheryl Dunn was a girl that was on tour with me for almost 2 years, and it just worked out, you know. So her and her husband, they had their tour bus, and boom, we joined together and we did a number of shows together for 2 years, because just our personalities matched and our genres matched, and so it was great to get together. But that happened because she sent a CD to my office, and at a lunchtime we sat down and went, "Oh, who's this Cheryl chick? Okay, red hair. Okay, throw the CD in." And I listened to it and I went, "Ooh, gee, she's great. I want to find out more." And then, you know, the conversation happened, and then here we are, you know, years later. She's now retiring and I'm still going. There's something wrong with this.
Well, no, I think you're hitting a nail on. I think you're hitting a nail of community on the head. It's one of our 4 parts of our community mentorship and talent growth. We talk about community here. Really involving yourself in other people's music, and encouraging them, because what you're doing is really saying, you know, I value you as an artist, that I would like to know if you would be interested in working together. So there is that sense as an artist that you're connecting with other people within the music community, and I think that's a big bonus. It's a win-win for you as an individual, like you get a chance to sing. Plus, you've affirmed that person that you're speaking to in their talents and gifts.
Yes, and it was in the beginning, Dale, when I first started. I asked a friend. I was going to Niagara Falls, and he had a show that night. And I said, "You know, I know you have a concert tonight. Can I get in and do 2 or 3 songs?" And he's like, "Sure, come on in and do it." I met a lady that night, and her name was Joan Elliott, Milton Joan Elliott. Her daughter, Marlene O'Neill. Marlene sings all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But Milton Joan were there that night. And so I sang that night. After the show was over, we're at the house having pizza. I think it was that we're having afterwards. And the conversation got brought up. "Oh, are you new? Have you sang here? Have you sang there?" I said, "No, I haven't." The next day, I get an email from Milt saying, "You need to contact this person, this person, this person, this person, and this person. Tell them I sent you." And I did. And one of those people were Brian and Edna Parker, who ran an event. And they booked me to come on to their event, and they had 5 artists, and I was one of the artists that night. I was there to sing one song, and I went on and sang one song, and that was, I thought, a one-off show. And I went from that to touring with that organization for, I think it was 2 years, maybe 3. We'd do 30, 40 shows a year. And that's how, working with Marlene, and again, Joan Elliott, so many other acts at the time. But it was the fact of somebody took the time to invest in me. So I'm going to say this to those that are more established. If you're an artist and you can think of somebody else that is pretty good in your community, invest into them. By investing into them, it's an investing into yourself, because it's your self-worth that you need to look after. I'll say it that way.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And
Amen to that.
To take it back on a common level too, is everything runs on relationships. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is, especially the music industry, sales is the best sales guys have great relationships with their customers. And from the music side of things, it's a relationship with your other performers, like you talked about with Cheryl there, Andrew. It's a relationship with the new people you're trying to help. You have to be genuine in those relationships as well, not just your craft, but in those relationships. And as long as people know that, you will have more people want to work with you. You will have more people want to deal with you. And it is, again, biblical principle here, treat people how you want to be treated. And it will pay you back tenfold. It really will. Mm-hmm. So relationships are key, and you just have to, if you focus on the relationship, the business will take care of itself. So just a thought.
That's good stuff.
It is. I mean, this has been rich. I just was staying silent and listening to all. I was going to actually go and review some of the strategies, but you guys went on and kind of did it. So,
although I do have a wrap-up question.
Okay, go for it, Dale.
All right. So let's just boil this down. Maybe it's been said already, or maybe it hasn't been said. Maybe it's something you've been percolating. If there's 3 things that you could say to an artist to help them to get this machine going, just 3 things, what would you say, those 3 things?
Darrin, you have to go first. I have to think.
Okay. I'm going to take it back to what I talked about early. Set a goal, and there's a few parameters to set the goal. Make a plan and give it a timeline, and then you reevaluate. So you have to have something that you can follow, something you can adjust, something you can shoot for. You have to have a goal, and then you work from there. But you got to write it down. I know that's the myth, but definitely write it down. Put it on your fridge, put it on your mirror. 5,000 followers in 1 year. That's the goal, right? 1,000 downloads in 1 year. Maybe that's the goal. I don't know. Yeah. But then you break it down.
It echoes that old adage of, without a vision, my people will perish. You have to have a goal.
Yeah.
And I would say set a goal. And no, I was going to repeat everything Darrin said, but I'm not going to. Being authentic. Being authentic would be the very first thing I would say. Be who you are. Don't be something that you're not. And I would say set your timeline down. I love what Darrin just said. Have your goal in front of you of what you want to be. Keep it realistic, but again, stretch yourself. That don't say I want a download this year. You'll probably achieve that, but by saying I want 100, I want 1,000, put that in. And you might say, well, how can people find me? Start and get there. The journey of 1,000 footsteps starts with the first. And I think the last thing would be start in clothing sales, and start when you're young, because Darrin started working at the Eaton Center when he was young, 18 years old. I was 17 years old and had my own clothing store. So, I mean, that just shows that if you start off at 17, 18 years old selling clothing, you too can get to this spot where you're on this channel. Just 20, 30 years later, here you are.
Oh, thank you for that kind 20 to 30 years. Love you.
Wow.
So awesome.
So retail is the secret sauce. Is that right?
Retail is the secret. Everything I learned in the music business, I learned by operating my clothing store when I was 17. No, but it's the same principles. It's the same principles. When Darrin said earlier, when that person tries on the outfit and the outfit doesn't look good, you have two choices. It looks great, get the sale and blow your reputation, or be honest and say, it doesn't make your butt look good. And don't sell them that pair of pants or that outfit, and let them walk into the store and they'll remember you for being honest. And you probably will have somebody that wants to shop with you for life.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Amen.
I missed the retail thing, but hey, I will take that advice. Oh, wow. Guys, this has been rich. Thank you so much. I hope that if you've been watching, got a lot out of this. Not only would you have learned how to start, but also learn even some strategies along the way of, different ways to promote yourself and promote your music. But underlying all those strategies, I love the recipe or the ingredients of authenticity, keeping it real, keeping yourself real, and trying to be the best you that you can be, because there's no other you like you. And that's the way God made you. You know what? Andrew, Darrin, thank you so much for taking time to share your thoughts regarding Marketing Machine and how to build it. Dale, thank you so much. I love the hat. See, Darrin, Andrew, they were in retail. Then Dale went to the store, got the hat. I'm the only one missing. I missed
Actually,
that.
you know what, Cheryl? I was in retail for 4.5 years at Eaton's in the downtown Eaton Center. So
Seriously?
I know that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
The only thing
All right,
I've
guys.
done with retail is shop. That's it. So I'm a customer.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Again, you've been watching GMIHub Online. If you are tuning in for the first time, thank you for joining us. This is going to stay on the social media that it's airing on right now. So if you're on Facebook, I believe this will stay on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And if you are our Facebook viewer, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a while since we've been on Facebook, and we're so excited that we got on. And if you want to know more about GMIHub Online, please go to our website, gmihub.ca, where you will see upcoming events, some projects that are coming up, and we're pretty excited. As was mentioned earlier, we've done 2 compilation CDs, and yes, we are wanting to do another one again this year. So we will give you those details as time goes on, but if you are a songwriter, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open for that information. We have an opportunity for you to sign up to be a part of our community. Please go ahead and do that. You will get a newsletter about that, but you'll get some other information as well, which gives you opportunities above and beyond just being a social media follower. So please go ahead to our website. If you're on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you know every time that we come on with a brand new show. You'll be the first one to get a little notification saying GMIHub Online is live and waiting for you to come and join us. Oh, someone got excited about that. Until then, though, I just wanted to say thank you again for joining us. Again, thank you to our guests, Andrew Martin and Darrin Hunter. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Dale, thank you. We're wearing the hat today. It was awesome. And for all of you, we say thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.